The Tempest 4. A Guide to Heroism. 42nd of Primordial Moon. Morning. Good morning. You look tired. I'm not. Your eye bags have eye bags. It was a long night. The storm's still storming? Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to put it. I spent all night rescuing people from wandering into the Quag Mangrove. The Wyvern Chimera doesn't really like intruders. The frog ventures keep trying to break out of the treehouse, too. I barely even had time to look after Fable's vegetable garden. Do you think they're okay? Do you think the storm has reached Velios, too? Are they equipped to handle it? What if they stumble into the Twilight Chasm again? Yeah, Fable's faced much worse. After everything they've been through, I doubt the storm poses much of a threat to them. That does nothing to calm me down. Have some faith in them. They trust you to take care of the grove, maybe return the favor. I'll try. So now that you're here to take a break, do you need room so that no one sees you resting? No, I just need to sit for 2 minutes in silence is all. Then I'll be as good as new. Got it. We're having a staring contest. Morning, sentient elderberry. Are you ready for us to blow your socks off? Depends. Who is we? Big guy, stop chatting with the sparrows and get in here. And of course he's gonna go pick up a quest. The poor birds, they were almost blown away. That storm is gnarly. Luckily, we're here to fix it. That's wonderful news. Can't wait to rebuild Melli's ancient gizmo. Though, innkeeper... Present. Couldn't you just call up your old pal Leviathan, send a prayer, ask him to pick up his tantrum-throwing spirit? I tried that. Unfortunately, I am but a devotee. I don't have a direct line to the guy either. Plus, there's the oath of neutrality. You know, they can only help us so much. I guess he only answers you when you need new recipes. Maybe you can ask for a working compass recipe? While we're on the topic of questions, Una, let me continue with a reasonable one. Didn't Melli want to fix this? She does, but I put her on packing duty so she can work out some of those nerves. We'll pick her up once we're done here. I assume that means you'll be joining her? Of course, I know the Highlands well. And Prim and I got super lost on the way back from the book fair yesterday. It was pretty scary for her. I can only imagine what it's like for people and creatures that don't have someone's hand to hold. So we gotta fix this. Such a good Samaritan. You're going as well? Well, I was asked, and sometimes I gotta get off my old ass, right? Absolutely. So can you build them a compass that'll work? Not a chance. We'll have to trust our intuition and guess ourselves to the correct destination. Just like the good old days. We'll do our best to navigate through the storm. Maybe we'll manage to catch sight of some landmarks. I just hope we get there before it does any more damage. Got any tips? Leviathan's favorite? I know a navigator you could ask for some help. Or a ranger, rather. Who? Orlando Verafina, Fable's older brother and very experienced ranger. Sorry, what? He's already been helping people get home safely through the storm. He might just be the man you need. And he's in desperate need to get out more. I don't think you could just... You'll help us? Fable told us great things about you. That would be amazing. Thank you for the flattery, but no, I cannot help you. Think about it this way. The quicker this is solved, the less people will get lost in your forest. And the sooner those frogs will be adventurers again. I can't exactly just leave. What if something happens while I'm gone? Don't you have like 5 sisters? What if something happens to them? Don't you think they're competent? Well, yes, but... Don't worry, we'll take really good care of you, alright? It would really help us out. It would really help us a lot if you came along. Fine, I'll take you where you need to go and I'll bring you back. But I don't want to be involved in your weird adventure. Famous last words, kiddo. Famous last words. So how are you planning on approaching this? With luck? And a magical drink. Reassuring. Alright. I say we pack a heavy dose of dexterity for my old fingers so that I can reforge that mechanism thing. Easy peasy. Maybe also add a little intelligence to the mix. Some extra sparks couldn't hurt. Sounds reasonable enough. Got anything divine to add to that mix? I could offer you some delicious citron, both for the drink and the material for the mechanism, I suppose. Perfect. We might need some blessings to fix something so ancient. Can't trust those priests to be stocked up on divine favors. This is starting to sound kind of blasphemous. You think you can fix, let me see, ancient and divine design? We'll rebuild it. Right. Though now that I think about it, we might need some strength after all to make any progress with it. Melli said it was so tough she couldn't even scratch it. Not a bad point. Should we add some charisma as well so that we can better talk to the Tempest? Maybe it doesn't want to be back into the Zoetrope, or maybe it does. Either way, we should ask. That's insane. It's a powerful fire spirit. It'll burn you alive and destroy your surroundings before you can ask it about its feelings. That's what fire resistance is for. I like the way you think, big guy. Innkeeper, I'm thinking we could use your wisdom. Dexterity, intelligence, and divine blessings to put all of our focus on rebuilding the mechanism. Or strength, charisma, and fire resistance so we can try to commune with the spirit. Let me think about it. Okay, so the last time I went through this and I gave a pretty decent analysis as to why I picked what I did. This time, however, we're going to go with Una's. So last time we went with Clay's plan. This time we're going to go with Una's plan. So I need something with, specifically with, I believe it's the citron. Yeah. So that gives a plus and minus. Okay, which I don't need. So I get a plus and minus here. So I just need something with three dexterity. So this would work. Hot chocolate. That sounds perfect. So we want 3 of dexterity. This is assuming I can get this to work. This might not. No, that's not gonna work. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. We can go back to the drawing board. Okay, so... But I need 1 intelligence on this. Because that has to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 6, though, to do that. Can I do that with citron? Hold on, let me see what I have for infusions. Ghostberry, let's see, citron. Yeah, because that's going to take 2 to get that. Yeah, the hot chocolate's really the only one that... So that's 1, 2. It's just shy. I don't think there's a way to do that. Because it has to have the citron for the fire. Yeah. And we need... Let's just try this. 1, 2, 3. And one of that. Is that anything? No. Yeah, okay. I mean, we could try this. But it would have to be... Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm sure Andy would love that. That's the Ocean Fizz. But that's not the right drink. Yeah. The only one that meets the criteria of this one... It's the hot chocolate, and that... Unless... Because you can only do like one. Unless there's something else that has the... Fire, no. Oh, here. Here we go. This might work. We have a intelligence. And yeah, okay. Okay, we've got it. There's the hot chocolate. Let's focus on rebuilding this thing. Once you figure that out, I think the spirit won't be too big of an obstacle. And this way you can keep up with Orlando's speed. Can't wait to bounce my ideas off you kids. This will be a fun journey. I'm excited. Maybe you could say hi to the Griver guarding the temple too. We should. Sorry, just to clarify, what Griver? There's a giant Griver guarding the Dragon Temple near Varika. Some of the others ran into it last year while looking for the ever-burning flame. Right, yeah, no normal occurrences, typical adventure stuff. Sure, I get it. You got this. We'll see. I should go pick up some supplies. I'll meet you at Broom's place. Head left from the Wizard's Towers until you smell the bread from the bakery. It should be easy enough to find from there. Thank you, Ollie. No. Ha. I'm sure you'll get it to stick. Nicknames usually do. We gotta head out, innkeeper. I need to stock up on snacks for Dindy before we leave, and on some bread. That bakery sounds tempting. We'll be back soon. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to pray for us. I would never forget to do that. Yeah, we're gonna do... Your friend's causing a lot of trouble, Levi. So send them some luck, okay? I'll finally name a drink after you if you do. The Tempest. 5. The Eye of the Storm. 50th of the Primordial Moon. Would you look at that? The weather's cleared up. Does that mean they were successful? Hopefully no one turned into fog. Good morning, innkeeper. Missed us? I did. But I consoled myself with the hope that you guys would bring the sun back to my tavern, which you did. I take it the quest was a success? Bingo! Congratulations! Seems like you three saved Fiosa once again, or at least you saved a lot of people from getting lost. Speaking of which, where's Orlander? What? Oh, he was right behind us. Maybe he got distracted by the bakery. Can't blame him for that. We almost lost Dindy there as well. Or maybe the bread ate him. I guess someone has to check. Bummer. Looks like I'll have to miss out on a drink. Are you just trying to avoid the recap? No. I'm doing the pretty elf a favor. I'm offering him my seat so he can take a part of whatever this is. I have more than enough chairs. See ya. Can I please offer someone a drink? I'd love one. Very well, detective. Any specific wishes? Something that'll fire up my brain so I'll be well prepared for my next case. On it. So, something for Melli. We need 3 brain. So, since they just brought back the sun, let's do the peak sunrise. So, we're going to do the flower. Add 1 extra dexterity, a little bit more than a drop. And then we need to add 3 intelligence into the mix. There we go. Peak sunrise. Thank you, Andu. I'm pretty sure you'll like this one. Ooh, taste test. Delicious. No ancient puzzles or spirits will be safe for me ever again. Now, care to tell me more about your heroic quest? Happily. I've traveled to Varika many times. But because of the weird storm, it was really hard to tell where we were going. I didn't know exactly how he did it, but somehow Ollie could figure out north from south. There's Ollie. Some would also call it skill. Welcome back to my tavern. Did Una save you from the bread? Barely. Good to hear. Your companions were just singing your praises. Thanks to Ollie's fantastic sense of direction, we traveled so fast. But when we finally reached the foot of the mountain, you know, the one with the dragon temple, suddenly, the ground beneath us started rumbling and shaking. At first, I thought I had accidentally stepped on a trap or freed another angry spirit. But it was just a Gwyver. You say that like it was nothing. It was huge, a huge snake with wings. It was just as friendly as Kyle said. It got along really well with Clay. He even got it to let us ride on his back. It was so cool. I bet Archie's going to be so jealous when I tell him I've ridden a Gwyver. It was very reckless. All of us could have gotten hurt. Sometime I wonder whether you're allergic to fun. Admit it, Ollie. You really like the Gwyver too. I saw you studying its scales. It was interesting, I guess. A fascinating creature. And surprisingly gentle. See? Admitting it didn't hurt, right? It almost did. The Gwyver carried us all the way to the top of the mountain to the Dragon Temple's doors. Finally, I'd get to talk to the priest and figure out how to fix my zoetrope. Leviathan's zoetrope, of course. The priests were amazed by the zoetrope, even though it was broken. They said it was oozing divinity, which sounded unhealthy, but also like a good thing. Una got them to invite us to their divine workshop to get a closer look at their forge and materials. I'm pretty sure she looked through every single one of their crates, trying to find metal we could fuse with the zoetrope. She also pocketed a lot of their crystals. Maybe she'll give you some later, innkeeper. What? Nothing. Anyway, even though Una was wearing her coolest goggles, none of the metals were ancient enough to match ours. But Una wasn't about to give up. She asked the priests if their forges could melt the citron we brought. And guess what? Their forges can melt anything. Cool, right? Very. They really wanted to know where we had gotten all the citron from, though. Who can say? That's what I said. Speaking of citron, do you think you could make me a drink, innkeeper? Melli did make it sound delicious. How could I ever refuse you? So he wants probably something with citron. Yeah, just something with citron. So we want something that's gonna have at least a sword and a shield. And I think the last time I gave him this. So this time, yeah, let's do the steel tonic. Or do I want to, yeah, you know what we're gonna do the ocean fizz, just because it's the new drink. That, and then we just have a lot of dexterity. Oh, hold on. I take it back. I've already got the shield. There we go. Thank you, Andu. A drink with digestible citron just for you. Thank you. It's just as tasty as I had hoped, though not as crunchy. Anyway, can we get back to Una's cool concept? Gladly. We decided to fix the zoetrope by building the missing parts of the citron. A brand new etrope, so to speak. I helped Una draw up the blueprints based on Archie's and my studies. We added some flower engravings too, because Baya always said there's nothing happier than flowers. And then Clay and Una got to forging. She trusted me with the heavy lifting while she did all the finicky stuff. I learned so much. I asked her if she could help me redecorate my animal shelter sometime. She said yes. I'm excited. So, good choice. Or explosive. Which is also great. Exactly. What part of the forging did you take on, Orlander? Oli didn't like our approach. It's not that I didn't like it, it just seemed ineffective. The plan was to convince the spirit to go back inside the zoetrope. But you wanted to fundamentally change the original design. I thought, what's the point of changing it so much that the spirit might not even recognize it anymore? Going through all that effort wouldn't be worth it, we would just make it angrier. What a waste of time. I told him that doesn't change. That change doesn't have to be bad though. Sure, we couldn't rebuild the zoetrope exactly how it was before, but who's to say the spirit wouldn't like its new home? Maybe not in the same way, or maybe not as much, but in a new way. I don't think we should deny ourselves joy just because something feels unfamiliar to us. Besides, what we wanted to give it was peace and happiness, not nostalgia. Well, yeah, it wasn't really up for life lessons at that time. So I just chatted with the priests for the rest of them, while the rest of them worked away in the forge. They gave me a tour of the temple, showed me the clock tower, the enchanted statues, the desecrated altar, the ever-burning flame. They were still pretty down about the primordial flood extinguishing it. Said the temple felt cold without it, no matter how many candles they lit, and so on and so forth. But they covered up their overtly complicated feelings by telling me about the temple's architecture. I got a whole lecture on how it has evolved since its original conception. They didn't remember when it was first built, but they did have a few myths up their sleeves. Really fun myths. Oli told us about them on the way back, but I'm skipping ahead. Una and Clay did an awesome job. They melted some parts of the zoetrope and then reforged them together using the citron and divine blessings from your drinks. It made the whole thing sparkle. I even felt like I could hear a distant, gentle melody as Una slipped the final piece into place and Clay brought down the hammer for the last time. And then, as if summoned by the mechanism's new finished form, we heard a loud crash from outside. We all rushed out there in record time, and I made sure to tuck the zoetrope under my arm as we ran. It was radiating a soft heat like a divine hand warmer. When we got outside, we saw that one of the temple statues had both been smashed and burned to bits. And right in front of us, the Tempest and the River were fighting. It was pretty gnarly. I think I could sense us doing something to the mechanism, and then rushed to the Highlands in a blind panic. It looked even angrier than the last time I saw it, and I got really scared. The air around us was scorching hot, but I was frozen solid, and I just couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. It's okay, Melli. We all feel that way sometimes. Your fear is what keeps you alive. Mindless, reckless heroism isn't always the answer. Though sometimes bravery is, and you found it just in time, didn't you? I did. I felt Clay's hand on my shoulder, and I knew I could do it. So I stepped forward, held out the zoetrope, and said as loud as I could, "I'm sorry that your home was broken, and that I left you all alone and scared. We built you a new home if you want it." Immediately, the Tempest rushed towards her, and I wanted to interfere, but Una held me back, told me to trust her. The spirit circled me and the zoetrope for what felt like an eternity. But then, just like how it escaped when I first found it, it glided back into the mechanism's reattached centerpiece. Suddenly, the raging storm around us changed. It was still there, but it got quieter, less angry, more sad. The warmth of the zoetrope against my hands felt lonely too somehow. It didn't even start spinning, just sat there in my arms like a small flickering flame in the center. And I realized the zoetrope had been lost in the forest for so long, the place the spirit once belonged to probably didn't even exist anymore. It was back in its mechanism, but what now? Were we supposed to just put it back in the forest? Would it get lost again? What purpose did it have now? I pulled the zoetrope closer to my chest so the spirit knew it wasn't alone, but I knew I couldn't bring it back to the past either. Then Oli stepped up to me and asked if he could hold it up for a second. I was thinking back to what the priest had told me earlier about how the temple had changed over the years, and how Clay had said that change could be a new beginning if you let it in. I thought, well, I brought the zoetrope to the empty altar where the ever-burning flame had once stood. It's in the center of a giant hall with high walls and the perfect lighting conditions for a show of animated shadows. Gently, I set the zoetrope down in the center of the altar. It felt like a good place for it to dance, like maybe it could find a new purpose there. Maybe it could light up the temple with joy again. I was sure it hated my idea at first, since the storm suddenly rushed into the temple and spun around the zoetrope like a small tornado. But then, the storm swirled and swirled until it became a gentle whirl around the zoetrope, turning it slowly in circles as the spirit danced in the center. It projected all these beautiful images on the walls, made of shadows that almost felt alive. When I saw frogs, I realized it was showing stories it had witnessed during the storm, some hopeful, some sad, some heroic or funny. The priests were delighted, and the spirit lit up the temple with new life. Una danced along with it too, when it was clear the zoetrope repairs would hold. That's beautiful. Yes, it is. I'm proud of you, all of you. That's a pretty impressive temple remodel. Right? Maybe I should ask Ollie for some remodeling tips. I'm not too bad at woodworking, actually. So I can invite you to the Sleeping Forest and you'll help me build a new barn? You know what? Sure. I think I could stop by for a few days. But first, I need a break, desperately. Saving the world is pretty exhausting, isn't it? Very. You know what's perfect for a break? A drink? Agreed. Would you like something for your headaches? No, actually, Clay recommended some of your harder drinks. If you feel exhaustion in your bones, a little bit of liquid defense will fix you right up. I'd like to give it a try. I'll happily make that possible. So we need something with 3 shields. We could do first snow, hot chocolate. I think we're gonna do the steel tonic. I don't think I've made that yet this round. Let's see what can I add? Yeah, we'll add fire, hot pepper. There's that. Touch of sword, and 3 shields. Thank you, Andu. There you go. You might have to get accustomed to the taste, though. Let me give it a try. It's good. Different from what I usually order, but good. Glad you like it. If you're taking recommendations, may I recommend a quest? Let's take it slow. Are you guys done with all your yapping yet? You missed the most exciting part. Nah, I think I arrived just in time. I'm grabbing some free drinks, old pal. Adventures always come with free drinks, you know that. I'd be up for another round myself. Me too. Me 3. Round 2 of many it is.